Hare Krishna. Now I'm going to read Gopala-tapani Upanishad, a commentary by Jiva Goswami, translated by Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj. I'm going to read the part 2, Uttara. Ekada hi vraja striya sakhama sharva reem ushitva sarveshwaram gopalam krishnam uchire uvachatha Krishna. Translation. Once the women of Vraja, desiring his constant association, inquired from Gopala, the Supreme Lord, after spending the night with him. Krishna replied to them. Commentary. In the first part of the Upanishad, the conclusion was Tasmai Krishna, Tasmat Krishna Eva Paro Deva. Therefore, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. This is a statement of the major theme of the work, Mahavakya. With that statement, the second part of the Upanishad explains in a different way about Krishna who was previously described. The gopis had continuous desire for association with Krishna, Sakama. They had spent the whole night near Krishna in past tense. The women of Vraja spoke to Krishna. He spoke to them. The text of this section is their conversation. 2.2 Anu Kasmai Anukasmai Brahmanaya Bhakshyam Datavyam Bhavati. Translation. To which Brahmana should we give food afterwards? Commentary. The women of Raja speak. To whom should we give food afterwards, so that by giving to him, we will not be separated from you. 2.3 Durvasa Seti. Translation. Give food to Durvasa. Commentary. Krishna speaks. Durvasasa should actually be Durvasase. Give to Durvasa. The meaning is this. I instruct that you give food to Durvasa. But that's not all. He will reveal to you the method of obtaining your desires, since he has understood the meaning of this Upanishad through the Sampradaya of Brahma and Narayana. At the time of my appearance in this world, he will live near Vraja and obtain a particle of affection similar to that of the people of Vraja. Since he is indifferent to all else, his affection will be recognized by the gopis. Krishna's intention by speaking in this way was that the gopis should receive his teachings. 2.4 Katam yasyamo tirtva jalam yamunaya yatha shreyo bhavati. Translation. How can we cross the water of the Yamuna so that we can attain benefit from Durvasa? Commentary. The women speak. How can we cross the water of the Yamuna since it's very deep? They were on the southern bank and Durvasa was on the northern bank. 2.5 Krishneti brahmachariti riti yuktva margamo dasyati. Translation. After saying the words Krishna and brahmachari, the Yamuna will give you a path. Commentary. Krishna again speaks. After saying the words Krishna and brahmachari, the Yamuna will give you a path. The form Krishneti instead of Krishna iti is Vedic usage. The word Yamuna, though not mentioned, should be supplied. Or after saying to the Yamuna, the brahmachari is named Krishna, go across the Yamuna. The Yamuna will give you a path. Uh, 2.6 Yam mam smritva gadha bhavati. Yam mam smritva putaha puto bhavati. Yam mam smritva vrati bhavati. Yam mam smritva sakamo nishkamo bhavati. Yam mam smritva shrotriyo bhavati. Translation. Remembering me, a deep river becomes shallow. Remembering me, the impure becomes pure. Remembering me, the person without vratas obtains the results of all vratas. Remembering me, a person with desire loses all desires. Remembering me, a person with no ears develops ears. Commentary. How is this? The answer is given. Remembering me, the deep water whose bottom cannot be touched by a man in the water becomes shallow. But that's nothing. Remembering me, the impure demons become pure and attain liberation. Those who perform no vratas gain the results of all vratas. A person with all material desires becomes desireless, since by desiring only me, all a person's other desires disappear. Another version has A person without desire develops desires. This means that the Atma Rama develops desire to see me. A person without ears develops ears. This is representative of all the senses. A person devoid of all senses develops all senses. Atma Ramas and trees and other plants with undeveloped senses develop senses. By the power of the flute or hearing his pastimes, the tree on the Atma Rama develops senses. Parinishtitopi nairgunya uttama leelaya grihita cheta rajarshe akyanam yad adhitavan. Though I was fixed in Brahman and beyond the gunas, my mind became attracted to the pastimes of the Lord. I thus learned about his pastimes. SB 2.1.9. Ga Gopaker Anuvanam Nayator Udara Venu Savanai Kalapadaistanu Britsu Sakya Aspandanam Gati Matam Pulakaistarunam Nirogya Pasha Krita Lakshanayor Vichitram. My dear friends, when Krishna and Balarama passed from forest to the forest with their cowherd friends, with the cows, carrying ropes to bind the cows' rear legs at the time of milking, by the generous sound of his flute, among all living beings, those which move things become inert, and trees which cannot move sprout shoots in ecstasy. This is most amazing. SB 10.21.19. 2.7. Shrutva tad vacham hi vai raudram smritva tad vakyena tirtva tat sauryam hi gatva shramam punyatamam hi natva munim shreshtatamam hi vai raudram cheti. Translation. Remembering the words and remembering Durvasa, they crossed the Yamuna using those words. They went to his pure hermitage and offered respects to the best of sages. Commentary. This verse explains that the women did as they were told. The word he indicates certainty and why indicates remembering the event. Remembering his words, becoming bold by words which would produce great ability, remembering Durvasa, an expansion of Rudra, Raudram, since he was the goal of their going there, by the utterance of those words, Krishna is a brahmachari, they crossed the Yamuna, Sauryam, which, though deep, became shallow. He indicates that it is well known. Going to his pure hermitage, they bow to the best of sages. The reversal noun and verb natva and munim is seen in later verses also. Iti indicates they perform other types of worship of him also. 2.8. Datvasmai brahmanaya kshiramayam gritamayam ishtatamam vai mishtatamam tushtasatva abhuktva hitva shisham prayujyanvajnam tva adat. Translation. They gave the Brahmana sweet rice cooked with milk and ghee. Satisfied, he ate it completely. Rejecting some small remnants and giving them blessings, he told them to return home. Commentary. They gave him the rice cooked with milk and remained silent. He completely consumed it, abhuktva. Rejecting the remnants, stuck to the plate, hitva, he gave blessings to them and told them to go home, anu avagnyam. The meaning is that out of great respect, he said nothing. Abhuktvam instead of abhuktya, a Vedic usage. Katam yasyamu tirtva sauryam. How, translation, how will we go home without crossing the river? Commentary. They then spoke, how will we go without crossing the Yamuna? 2.10. Hovacha muni durva shinam mam smitva o dasyatiti margam. Translation. The sage spoke clearly. Remembering me who had not eaten, the river will give you a path. Commentary. Durvasa spoke clearly. Remembering me, the river will give you a path. Durva shinam, he whose food is far away, or he who eats durva grass. This means he who has no food. The order is reversed. Dasyati margam. 2.11. Tasam madhyeha shreshta gandharvi hai uvacha tam havai tabir evam vicharya. Translation. Among them, the best woman named Gandharvi spoke to the sage after consulting with her friends. Commentary. Among them, the best woman named Gandharvi spoke clearly ha to the sage. Sometimes he is seen instead of ha. She did this after consulting with her friends. 2.12. Katham Krishno Brahmachari, Katham Durvashano Munihi. Translation. How can it be said that Krishna is a brahmachari? How can it be said that the sage has no food? Commentary. What did she say after considering with friends? Why is Krishna a brahmachari? Why has the sage not eaten? He had said, remember me who had not eaten. Some take the word in verse 10 as Durvasinam mam smritva, remembering me a person with poor cloth and Atma Rama. But the other words they take as Durvashina Munihi, and they explain it properly as a sage with no food. Not eating properly is against the sage's position since he takes pleasure in eating. And being a brahmachari is contrary to Krishna's position since he has relationship with the gopis. Thus the questions are asked. 2.13 Tami mukhyam vidhaya purvam anukritva tushnim asu. Translation. Taking her as a chief person and putting her in front, they remain silent. Commentary. What did the others do? That's explained in this verse. 2.14 Shabdavan Akasha Shabdakashabhyam Bhinna Akashe Tishtati Sahi Sahai Akasha Sastam Naveda Sahai Atma Ham Katham Bhokta Bhavami Sparshavan Vayu Sparshavayubhyam Bhinna Tasmin Vayu Tishtati Vayurna Veda Tam Hi Sahai Atma Ham Katham Bhokta Bhavami Rupavad idam hi teja, rupagnibi yam bhinna, tasmin agnis tishtati, agnirna vedatam hi sahai atmaham, katham bhokta bhavami. Rasavatya apa rasabhyo bhinna, apsutishtati apastam na vidu, sahai atmaham katham bhokta bhavami. Gandha vatiyam Bhumi, Gandha Bhumi Bhyam Bhinna Bhumau Tishtati, Bhumisna Veda Tamhi, Sahai Atmaham Katham Bhokta Bhavami. Translation. Either is endowed with sound. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the either. The either does not know the Atma. How can the Atma be the enjoyer? Air is endowed with touch. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the air. The air does not know the Atma. How can Atma be the enjoyer? Fire is endowed with form. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the fire. The fire does not know the Atma. How can Atma be the enjoyer? Water is endowed with taste. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the water. The water does not know the Atma. How can Atma be the enjoyer? Earth is endowed with fragrance. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the earth. The earth does not know the Atma. How can Atma be the enjoyer? Commentary. Durvasa speaks these verses. The statements establish that the jiva is not the enjoyer. There's a substance called ether, which is endowed with sound. The Atma is different from both. It is situated in the ether with sound, situated in the body. That ether, the object supported, does not know the Atma, its support. Atma is separate from ether, unknown by ether. How then can I, the Atma, be the enjoyer? The Atma cannot be the enjoyer of the ear's perceptions, since ether cannot enter the Atma. The same explanation may be given for the other elements such as air endowed with touch. 2.15 Idam hi manasteshva evadam manute tan idam hi gruhnati. The mind situated in the senses thinks according to the particular sense. The mind accepts either and other elements as well as the senses. Commentary. How then do I, the enjoyer, hear sound? The mind is the perceiver. It is situated in all the senses such as the ear. It then thinks according to the ear or other sense. Becoming one with that sense, it experiences sound, etc. Therefore, the mind accepts either and other elements. 2.16 Yatra sarvam Maiva bhut tatra va kutra manute kva va gacchati iti sahai atmaham katam bhokta bhavami. Translation: when the Atma becomes manifest into the realizer of Atma, at that time, how can he think that the Atma is the enjoyer or that the Atma goes anywhere? Commentary: since you have an antakarana like other people, the Atma will have an imposition, adhyas, of being the enjoyer. This verse shows that such imposition does not take place on the Atma. When yatra, for the person who knows Atma, Atma becomes manifest because of knowledge of the basis of all cause and effect in the manner of recognizing shell to be distinct from silver. In that state or in any object, what experiencer will think in terms of a sense organ? The same should be considered for all the knowledge senses. All the action senses should be considered in the same way. Who goes in what direction by what sense? Since I'm in a state of realizing Atma, I'm not an enjoyer related to the body. My enjoyment with pure bliss, since I'm in a state of realizing Atma, I'm not an enjoyer related to the body. My enjoyment with pure bliss arises from association with you, gopis, who are dearest to the Lord. Thus, Durvasa has no interest in food. He is like Shukadeva. Harer gunakshipta matir Bhagavan, Badarayani, Adhyaghan Mahad, Akhyanam, Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. Shukadeva, the son of Vyasa, whose mind became distracted from trance by the qualities of Krishna and who became attracted to the Vaishnavas, studied this great Bhagavatam, SB 1.7.11, 2.17. Ayam hi Krishno yo o hi preshta sharira dvaya karanam bhavati. Translation: this Krishna who is dear to you is the cause of the two bodies, individual and total. Commentary: Krishna, being the cause of everything, cannot be defeated by the power of effects, since he is the possessor of all great powers. The word Ayam is used to indicate that the word Krishna cannot be interpreted to meaning anything else. He is the Krishna who is dear to you. He is the cause of the two bodies. This means he is the cause of all effects. This statement is spoken to give realization of the truth immediately. He is the cause of all people being manifested. Dva suparno bhavato brahmano amshabhutas tate taro bhokta bhavati anyo hi shakti bhavati iti vriksha dharme tau tishtata ato bhoktarau purvo hi bhokta bhavati tate taro abhokta krishno bhavati iti. Translation: two conscious entities exist. The jiva, an amsha of the antaryami, thinks he is the enjoyer. The other, the antaryami, is the witness. The two reside in the tree of dharma. The other, the antaryami, is the witness. The two reside in the tree of dharma. One is the enjoyer and one is not the enjoyer. The jiva is the enjoyer. The other, Krishna, is not the enjoyer. Commentary: in considering the two bodies, vyashti, individual, and samashti, total, universal form, there is great difference between jivas like me and antaryami, though they are both situated in one body. The two are living together, dvav and conscious, supernow. The two exist in this way. Of the two, Brahman, the antaryami of the jiva, is like the sun globe. The jiva itara, expansion of antaryami Brahmana, amsha bhuta, is like a particle of a sun ray. The jiva is the enjoyer. The jiva considers himself the enjoyer in the body out of ignorance. The other, the amshi, the Lord, is only the witness. Iti indicates the end of the mantra. The jiva considers himself the enjoyer in the body out of ignorance. The other, the amshi, the Lord, is only the witness. Iti indicates the end of the mantra. The word tatha indicates that the jiva is an amsha of Brahman. The word Tatha indicates that the Jiva is an Amsha of Brahman. How can the Brahman have an Amsha? Shutestu Shabda Mulatvat. The Veda is authoritative proof. Brahma Sutra 2.1.27. Shutestu Shabda Mulatvat. It's possible because of the Achintya Shakti of the Lord. Some may say that Brahman becomes the Jiva because of ignorance, but that's not possible since ignorance cannot exist within Brahman, or Brahman cannot be subjected to ignorance. Enough of speaking on this subject at length. The statement is repeated to show that the Antaryami is non-different from Krishna. The Jiva and Antaryami reside in the body, which has the quality of a tree, Vriksha. Vriksha means that which is cut down. The Jiva and Antaryami reside in the body, which has the quality of a tree, Vriksha. Vriksha means that which is cut down. Though they both reside there, the Jiva enjoys since he is not the Lord, and the other does not enjoy since he is the Lord. That is explained. The first is the enjoyer, but Tata, the other, the Lord is not the enjoyer. The Lord is not the enjoyer, and thus he is a brahmachari. That's accepted. But how is this related to Krishna? Krishna is the Lord. Krishna exists in this form of Antaryami as his expansion. Vishtabhyaham yidam kritsnam yekam shena stito jagad. I pervade everything in the universe by one expansion. BG 10.42. 2.19. Yatra vidya vidye na vidamo vidya vidyabhyam binna vidyamayo hi yasa katam vishayi bhavatiti. Translation. He who is separate from material vidya and avidya, near whom we do not know vidya and avidya, he who is filled with the chit shakti, how can he be a material enjoyer? He who is separate from material vidya and avidya, near whom we do not know vidya and avidya, he who is filled with the chit shakti, how can he be a material enjoyer? Commentary. Krishna's great difference from jiva is stated. Vidya and avidya are aspects of maya. Krishna's great difference from jiva is stated. Vidya and avidya are aspects of maya. Vidya vidye mama tanu vidhi uddhava sharirinam bandha moksha kari adye mayaya me vinirmite. O Uddhava, understand that vidya and avidya are my shaktis. They are created by my maya or without beginning and create liberation and bondage for the living beings. SB 11.11.3. O Uddhava, understand that vidya and avidya are my shaktis. They are created by my maya without beginning and create liberation and bondage for the living beings. SB 11.11.3. Just by coming into his proximity, yatra, we realize that vidya and avidya do not exist in him. Since expanding as Antaryami, he controls both. Yasya yutha yutham she Vishwa Shakti iyam sthita. The Shakti of the universe is situated as a portion of a 10,000th of Vishnu. The Shakti of the universe is situated as a portion of a 10,000th of Vishnu. Vishnu Purana 1.9.52. Thus he is different from both Vidya and Avidya. He is situated separately. Arjuna says, Tvam adhya purusha sakshad ishvara prakrite para mayam vyudasya chit shaktya kaivalye stita atmani. You are the original Lord, the controller beyond material energy. You are situated in your spiritual form, being one with your spiritual energy and separate from the material energy. SB 1.7.23. The reason is given, fill completely with the chit shakti of Mahavidya, Vidya Maya. How can he be a material enjoyer? 2.20. Yoha vai kamena kaman kamayate sa kami bhavati. Yoha vai tva akamena kaman kamayate so kami bhavati. Translation. He who desires objects with desire to enjoy them is an enjoyer. He who desires objects without a desire to enjoy them is not an enjoyer. Commentary. We have experienced that Krishna is the enjoyer. This verse answers. He who desires material objects, kaman, because of desire to enjoy, is an enjoyer, kami. He who desires objects without desires to enjoy them, with favorable attitude only out of prema, is not an enjoyer. He said, Atma Ramopi Ari Ramad. Though Krishna is Atma, Rama he enjoyed. SB 10.29.42. Pram Rujat Karuna Premna Shanta Menanga Panina. Merciful Krishna lovingly wiped their faces with his comforting hand. SB 10.33.20. Naham tu Sakyo Bhajatopi Jantun Bhajami Amisham Anuvritti Vrittaye. But the reason I do not immediately reciprocate the affection of living beings even when they worship me, or gopis, is that I want to intensify their loving devotion. SB 10.32.20. Yatva aham bhavatinam vai dure varte priyo drisham manasa sannikarshartham mad anudhyana kamyaya. But the actual reason why I, your beloveds, have stayed far away from your eyes is that I wanted to intensify my meditation upon you and thus draw my mind closer to you. SB 10.47.34. From these statements, it is shown that Krishna desired the gopis, but without desire for himself, akamena. Therefore, he is not an enjoyer, yet prema. This quality should be considered to be a necessary quality, since he is the shelter of all beings and is accepted as the most worthy of worship. The gopis' desire for him is the same. Yatte sujata charanamburuham staneshu bhita shanai priya dadhimahi karkasheshu tena tavim atasi tadvyatate nakim sweet kur padibhir brahmati dhir bhavad ayusham va. Oh beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. SB 10.31.19. Durvasa also indicated that the gopis do not have material desire. They cannot be considered ordinary enjoyers. The relationship between Krishna and his gopis gives happiness to liberated devotees and desiring liberation. This is stated by Uddhava. Vanchanti yad bhavabhyo munayo vayamcha. Sages fearing material life desire the gopis' pure love. SB 10.47.58. Nayam Shriyo Anga Nitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshhitam Nalina Gandha Rucham Kutonya Rasotsavesya Bhujadanda Grihita Kanta Labda Shisham Yahudagad Vrajavallabhinam. When Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Ras Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. The gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune, though she was intensely attracted to him or to other consorts in the spiritual world whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. Whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women, SB 10.47.60. Therefore, I see extraordinary qualities in Krishna and in you. Therefore, I see extraordinary qualities in Krishna and in you. Janma jarabhyam binna stanur ayam achedyo yam yo sau saurye tishtati yo sau goshu tishtati yo sau ga palayati yo sau gopeshu tishtati yo sau sarveshu vedeshu tishtati yo sau sarva veder giyate Yosau sarveshu bhuteshva avishya bhutani vidadhati savohi swami bhavati. Translation: He who is beyond birth and old age, who is steady in form, qualities, pastimes and abode, who is indivisible, who resides on the bank of the Yamuna, who lives among the cows, who protects the cows, who lives among the cowards, who lives among the cows, who protects the cows, who lives among the cowards, who resides in all the Vedas, who is praised in all the Vedas, and who entering all beings makes him special, is none other than the husband of you gopis. Commentary. Like Narayana's relationship with Lakshmi, Krishna's relationship with you is Swarupa Shakti, is eternal. It cannot be called material desire since it's perfect love. Saying this, Durvasa lists qualities of Krishna to make his point. The list shows that Krishna is devoid of the 6 material transformations. It is similar to the following. The list shows that Krishna is devoid of the 6 material transformations. It is similar to the following. Yekas Tvam Atma Purusha Purana Satyam Swayam Jyotir Ananta Adya Nityoksharo Jasra Sukho Niranjana Purno Dvayo Mukta Upadito Mrita. You are the one supreme soul, the supreme person, the oldest, the truth, self-manifested, unlimited, the beginning, eternal, indestructible, unlimited happiness, pure, full, without a second, free of upadis and deathless. SB 10.14.23. Krishna is fixed Thanu in his form, qualities, pastimes, and abodes. This is illustrated. He resides in the sun, Saurya, in an expanded form as the object of meditation in Kama Gayatri, or he resides in a place near the Yamuna Saurya. The suffix here is added to indicate a place near to the named place. Panini 4.2.0. Saurya can also refer to Krishnavana and Bhadravana, which will be mentioned later. Thus, the word Saurya refers to 2 places on the bank of the Yamuna. This is similar to the word Suyamuna in Vishnu Sahasranama, where it refers to people who reside on the banks of the Yamuna. This is explained by the commentator. Having explained about Krishna, now his name Govinda is explained by Durvasa. Krishna resides among the cows, Goshu. He resides among persons who reside in Nanda's Gokula, Gopeshu. This refers to the cowards who reside there out of great attachment to Krishna. Vatser Vatsataribhis cha Sakam Kridati Keshava Vrindavanantaragata Saramo Balakir Vrita. Krishna with Balarama, surrounded by young boys, plays with the calves and newborns in Vrindavana, Skanda Purana. Previously, in explaining the meaning of the word Govinda, it was said Go Bhumi Veda Vidita. He is known among the cows on earth and in the Vedas. Having shown the esoteric meaning as the coward, the external or common meaning is now shown, is known in the Vedas. The last statement in the present text says that he enters all beings and supports them. This is an explanation of term Bhumi, earth, in Go Bhumi Veda Vidita. He is perceived on earth. The Lord enters the earth in 2 ways, by Shakti when he is Aprakata and directly when he is Prakata, coming as Avatara. The Lord enters the earth in 2 ways, by Shakti when he is Aprakata and directly when he is Prakata, coming as Avatara. Vidadhati means he makes special or establishes. When he comes as Avatara, he enters living beings and makes them special. When he comes as Avatara, he enters living beings and makes them special. Explain, when he comes as Avatara, he enters living beings and makes them special. Explain the meaning. Explaining the meaning of the third name, Gopi Jana Vallabha, after explaining the words Krishna and Govinda, Durvasa also indicates the conclusion. He is your husband, Swami. He who was described by all the words above is your husband. The word he indicates affirmation. The word sa is connected with all the previous phrases. Yeah, he alone is your husband or Vallabha, no one else. The gopis' steady relationship is approved by saying that they are husband and wife. A relationship of the gopis with anyone else would be illusory. In describing the rasa dance, it is said, Nasuyam Kalu Krishnaya Mohitas Tasya Mayaya Manyamana Swapashwastan Swan Swan Daran Vrajaukasa. The coward men, bewildered by Krishna's yoga maya, thought their wives had remained home at their sides. They did not harbor any jealous feelings against him at any time. SB 10.33.37. Separation from Krishna is occasional or incidental. Krishna says directly to the gopis, Mai bhaktir hi bhutanam amritatvaya kalpate dishtya yadasin matsneho bhavatinam madapana. Rendering devotional service to me qualifies any living being for eternal life. But your prema for me, which has existed to bring the highest fortune, has caused you to attain me directly. SB 10.82.44. Rendering devotional service to me qualifies any living being for eternal life. But your prema for me, which has existed to bring the highest fortune, has caused you to attain me directly. SB 10.82.44. 2.22 Sa hovacha Gandharvi Katam Vasmasu Jato Sau Gopala Katam Va Gyato Sau Tvaya Mune Krishna Ko Vasya Mantra Kim Vasya Sthanam Katam Va Devakyam Jata Ko Vasya Jyayan Ramo Bhavati Kidrishi Pujasya Gopalasya Bhavati Sakshat Prakriti Paro Yoyam Atma Gopala Katam Tva Avatirno Bhumyam Hivai. Translation. Gandharvi then spoke, why was this coward born among us? How is Krishna known to you? What is his mantra? Where is his residence? How was he born to Devaki? Who is his elder brother Balarama? How does one worship Gopala? Why is this Gopala, who is beyond Prakriti, made his appearance on earth? Commentary. Hearing about her lover, she again inquired. The questions are clear. Why was he born to Devaki? She had heard that Garga spoke to Nanda and said, Pragayam Vasudevasya Kwasit Jatas Tavatmaja. Your son was previously the son of Vasudeva. SB 10.8.14. 2.23. Sahovacha tam vai eko havai purvam narayano deva yasmin loka otascha protascha tasya shrut padma jatobja yonistapitva tasmaihi varam dadau sakama prashnam eva vavretam tasmai dadau. Durvasa spoke to her, the one Narayana within whom the universe is woven like threads, bore Brahma from his lotus navel. After Brahma had performed austerity, Vishnu gave him a boon. Brahma requested his boon and Vishnu gave it to him. After Brahma had performed austerity, Vishnu gave him a boon. Brahma requested his boon and Vishnu gave it to him. Brahma requested his boon and Vishnu gave it to him. Commentary. Durvasa spoke clearly to Gandharvi. Vai indicates that it is well known. Another version has Eko hi Vai Narayana Asa Iha. This means that one Narayana existed in the material world, Iha. How did Narayana get his name? Within him, the universe is woven as if by cross threads. Nara Jatani Tatvani Nara Niti Vidur Buddha Tasyatani ayanam purvam tena narayana smrita. The wise know that Nara refers to the elements born from water. These elements were under his shelter ayana at the beginning of creation. Therefore, he is called Narayana. Lotus of the heart means lotus from his navel. First, Brahma was accepted in Vishnu's heart and then appeared from his navel. Then the Lord gave a boon to Brahma, who was waiting there after performing austerity, tapitva, or revealing himself. The Lord gave him a boon. The Lord pleased him with a boon. Or revealing himself, the Lord gave him a boon. The Lord pleased him with a boon. Brahma requested what he desired. Narayana gave him the boon. 2.24 Sahovachabja yoni yo vataranam madhye shreshto vatarako bhavati yena lokastushta devastushta bhavanti yam smitva mukta asmat samsarat bhavanti katham vasyavatarasya brahmata bhavati. Translation. Brahma spoke, who is the best among the avatars, by whom all people and devatas become satisfied, by whose remembrance people become liberated from samsara? How can this avatara be Swayam Bhagavan? Commentary. Who is the best among the avatars? Because he is the best. By him all people and devatas are satisfied. How can the best among the avatars be Swayam Bhagavan? If he is simply an avatara expansion, he cannot be the greatest among all and therefore cannot be the best. 2.25 Sahovacha tamhi narayano deva sakamya mero shringe yatha saptapuryo bhavanti tatha nishkamya sakamyascha bhugola chakre saptapuryo bhavanti tasam madhye sakshat Brahma Gopala-tapani. Translation. Narayana spoke to Brahma. Just as there are 7 delightful cities on top of Meru, there are 7 cities which bestow spiritual opulence and liberation on earth. Among them is the city of Gopala, which is directly Brahman. Commentary. Gandharvi asked, why has Bhagavan appeared among us cowards? Durvasa already answered by explaining that Krishna lives among the cows eternally in verse 21. He plays eternally with you. Now, however, he has made an appearance with you, which is called a birth, because of absorption in the pastimes. Because of absorption in the pastimes, you cannot detect this eternal situation. Why does this Gopala or Atma beyond Prakriti appear on earth? Verse 22, the answer is found in Brahma's question. He comes to satisfy the people and devatas. Why does this Gopala or Atma beyond Prakriti appear on earth? The answer is found in Brahma's question, to satisfy the people and the devatas. He should now, verse 24, he should now answer the remaining questions. Among them, the answer to where does he live is answered directly. Narayana illustrates to Brahma in the present verse that Krishna is the best of all. Narayana illustrates to Brahma in the present verse that Krishna is the best of all avatars, since he is Parabrahman, using an example of various cities. Sakamya means full of enjoyment. The reference to Meru indicates places on higher planets, the highest of which is the supreme Vaikuntha. Ya yutha bhuvi vartante puryo bhagavata priya tas tata santi vaikunte tattal leelartam adrita. Just as there are cities on earth dear to the Lord, there are cities in Vaikuntha for his pastimes, Skanda and Padma Puranas. Just as there are cities on earth dear to the Lord, there are cities in Vaikuntha for his pastimes, Skanda and Padma Puranas. The cities there give liberation, Nishkamya, and all enjoyment, Sakamya. The enjoyment is Sarshti, etc. In the spiritual world, there are 7 cities in both places, the material and spiritual worlds: Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika, Puri, Dwaravati, Gaya, Saptaite, Mokshadaika. The 7 cities which bestow liberation are Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Avanti, Puri, and Dwaraka. The conclusion is then given. Among them, the city of Gopala is the highest shelter. Sakshat Brahman, thus Krishna who lives there is Parabrahman. The conclusion is then given. Among them, the city of Gopala is the highest shelter. Sakshat Brahman, thus Krishna who lives there is Parabrahman. 2.26. Sakamya Nishkamya Devanam Sarvesham Bhutanam Bhavati Yatha hi vai sarasi Padmam Tishtati Tata Bhumyam Tishtati iti Chakrena Rakshita hi vai Mathura Tasmad Gopalapuri Bhavati. Translation: this place satisfies all desires of devatas and other beings. This place satisfies all desires of devatas and other beings, both material and spiritual. Just as a lotus rests on water untouched by it, this abode rests within the material world. Protected by the chakra, Mathura, the city of Krishna, is the highest abode. Commentary. This verse shows the intense pleasures and spiritual assets available there. Material vision of the place is excluded by comparing it to a lotus in the water. Because of its spiritual nature, it is the city of Gopala, who is Parabrahman in human form. By its intrinsic nature, this city must be considered the supreme shelter, Sakshat Brahma among all places. The city appears in 2 forms, lower and higher, Sakamya and Nishkamya, because of differing types of worship. Just as Gopala himself appears in various forms according to varieties of worship. The city is the highest because Gopala is its ruler. He is described as Brahmanohi Pratishtaham. I am the basis of Brahman, BG 14.27. He is thus situated as the supreme Brahman. In this pure condition, he appears as Avatara in this world. In this pure condition, he appears as Avatara in this world. 2.27. Brihad Brihad Vanam Madhur. Madhu Vanam, Talas Tala Vanam, Kamyam Kamya, Vanam Bahula Bahula Vanam, Kumudam Kumuda Vanam, Kadira Kadira Vanam, Bandro Bandra, Badro Badra, Vanam Bandhira Iti Bandhira Vanam, Sri Vanam Loha Vanam, Vrindaya Vrindavanam, Veter Avruta, Avruta Puri Bhavati. Translation: this city is surrounded by 12 forests. The large Brihadvana, then Madhuvana, named after the demon Madhu, Talavana, filled with tala trees, where Kamyavana, famous for attractive Kamya, Krishna, famous for attractive Krishna, Bahulavana, where Bahula lived, Kumudavana, filled with lotuses, Kadiravana, filled with Kadira trees, Badravana, where Balarama performed pastimes, Bandhiravana, where the famous banyan tree grew, beautiful Srivana, Lohavana, where the Loha Janga dynasty lived, and Vrindavana, named after Vrinda. Commentary. Having described placement of his abode, now in this verse, the sage describes the surrounding forest. Brihadvana, great forest, Mahavana, is called by this name because of its great size. Or because of greatness of Krishna's first pastimes in Gokula. Madhuvana is named because a demon named Madhu lived there and was killed there, just as Keshi Tirtha is so called because Keshi was killed there. Or it is called Madhuvana because the Madhu dynasty, Yadus, lived there. Talavana is named from the tala trees growing there, which caused a special pastime. Kamyavana is a place of many types of pastimes where Krishna, most attractive Kamya, performed pastimes. Bahula was a wife of the Lord according to Skanda Purana. The forest Bahulavana is named as such since she stayed there. Another version has Bahula Vanam. These means it contains a place called Bahula where Bahula stayed. The long La is similar to the name Mishraka Vanam. Kumuda Vana produced many special pastimes. Kumudavana produced many special pastimes because lotuses always blossom there. Kumudavana produced many special pastimes because lotuses always bloom there. Kadira is named because of the Kadira beetle trees growing there. Bhadravana is so called because of Balabhadra, Balarama, who assisted Krishna. Thus, Krishna's forest is named after Balarama. Balarama performed special pastimes there. The place is non-different from him. The place is non-different from him. Bandira is a special banyan tree which inspired streams of rasa and Krishna's pastimes. That tree grew in Bandira Vana. Shri means wealth and beauty. Thus the forest is called Shrivana. Thus the forest is called Shrivana. Lohavana is named after the Loha Janga dynasty that lived there, just as Madhuvana was named after the Madhu dynasty living there. Lohavana is named after the Loha Janga dynasty that lived there, just as Madhuvana was named after the Madhu dynasty living there. It's named after the Loha Janga dynasty that lived there, just as Madhuvana was named after the Madhu dynasty living there. Vrindavana is named after Vrinda, a special personification of Krishna's great Leela Shakti, mentioned in the Padma Purana. Vrindavana is named after Vrinda, a special personification of Krishna's great Leela Shakti, mentioned in the Padma Purana. Kartika Mahatmya, the greatness of the place is shown by explaining how it became the shelter of all of Krishna's pastimes. Vrindavana is placed last according to the principle that one should conclude with sweetness, madhurena samapayet. The method of visiting the forest is explained in Varaha Purana. .28. No, before that. Vrindavana is named after Vrinda. A special personification of Krishna's great Leela Shakti, mentioned in Padma Purana, in the Padma Purana, Kartika Mahatmya. Mahatmya. 2.30. No, 2.28. Tatra teshva eva gahaneshva evam deva manushya gandharva naga kinnara gayantiti nrityantiti. Translation. Within Mathura, in those forests, the devatas, humans, gandharvas, nagas, and kinnaras sing and dance in their particular styles. Within Mathura, in those forests, the devatas, humans, gandharvas, nagas, and kinnaras sing and dance in their particular styles. Commentary. In Mathura area, Tatra, in those forests, the devatas sing and dance, since it's the eternal abode, since it's Brahman himself, Evam. Mathura area, Tatra, in those forests, the devatas sing and dance, since it's the eternal abode, since it is Brahman himself, Evam. It is said, Atra Devas cha Bhutani Vartante Sukshma Rupata. The Devatas and elements exist there in subtle forms. Gautamiya Tantra, the word iti, The word iti repeated indicates the manner of the singing and dancing. 2.29 Tatra dvadashaditya ekadasha rudra Ashtau Vasava Sapta Munayo Brahma Naradascha Pancha Vinayaka Vireshwaro Rudreshwaro Ambikeshwaro Ganeshwaro Neelakanteshwaro Vishweshwaro Gopaleshwaro Bhadreshwara Adyani Lingani Chaturbimshatir Bhavanti. Translation: the 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, 7 sages, Brahma, Narada, the 5 Vinayakas, the 8 Lingas, Vireshwara, Rudreshwara, Ambikeshwara, Ganeshwara, Neelakanteshwara, Vishweshwara, Gopaleshwara, and Bhadreshwara, as well as 24 other lingas reside there. Commentary: the sage enumerates others, starting with the 12 Adityas and ending with the Vinayakas who reside there. The lingas in which Shiva resides, who also exist there eternally. 8 are listed starting with Vireshwara. Adhyani means others as well. Dve vane sta Krishne vanam bhadra vanam tayor anta dvadasha vanani punyani punyatamani teshva eva devas tishtanti siddha siddhim prapta. Translation: there are forests Bhadravana and Krishnavana. The 12 forests are contained within these two. There are two forests, Bhadravana and Krishnavana. The 12 forests are contained within these two. Some are pure and others even purer. Devatas, Nitya Siddhas and Sadhakas who have attained perfection remain there. Commentary: the forests are further explained with more particular knowledge. It was previously explained that the Devatas and others resided here eternally. Now their positions as sadhakas and siddhas is mentioned. Bhadravana contains Bhadravana, Shrivana, Lohavana, and Brihadvana. Krishnavana includes the other 8. Some of them are pure. Others are most pure. Others are most pure. Punyatamani. The devatas such as Adityas and the siddhas such as Nitya Siddha cowards, the associates of Krishna are situated in perfection there. The devatas such as Adityas and the siddhas such as Nitya Siddha cowards, the associates of Krishna, are situated in perfection there. Sadhakas such as Chandra Dvaja who have attained perfection, Siddhim Prapta, also dwell there. 2.31 Tatrahi Ramasya Ramamurti Pradyumnasya Pradyumna Murtir Aniruddhasya Niruddha Murti Krishnasya Krishna Murti. Translation: in Mathura area there is a deity of Balarama called Rama, a deity of Pradyumna called Pradyumna, a deity of Aniruddha called Aniruddha, and a deity of Krishna called Krishna. Commentary: the Lord in 4 forms also resides there. In Mathura area, in those forests, Tatra, it is well known that there is a deity named Rama, which is a form of Balarama. It is not named Sesha. The others are understood in the same way. It's not named Sesha. The others are understood in the same way. All 4 forms are not found everywhere in Mathura, since in Vrindavana one finds forms of Balarama and Krishna only. (2.32) Vaneshva evam Mathurashva evam Dvadasha Murtayo Bhavanti Ekam hi Rudra yajanti Dvitiyam hi Brahma yajati Tritiyam Brahmaja yajanti Chaturthim Maruto yajanti Panchamim Vinayaka yajanti Sashtim Vasavo yajanti Saptamim Rishayo yajanti Ashtamim Gandharva Gandharva yajanti, Navamim apsaraso yajanti, Dashami vai hi antardhane tishtati, Eka dashameti swapadam gata dvadashameti bhumyam hi tishtati. Translation: as in the forest, so in Mathura, Krishna appears in 12 forms. As in the forest, so in Mathura, Krishna appears in 12 forms. The Rudras worship the first form. The Rudras worship the first form. Brahma worships the second form. Brahma's sons worship the third form. The Maruts worship the fourth form. The Vinayakas worship the fifth form. The Vasus worship the sixth form. The sages worship the seventh form. The Gandharvas worship the eighth form. The Apsaras worship the ninth form. The 10th form is invisible. The 11th form is in the spiritual sky, its own abode. The 12th form is on the earth. The 12th form is on the earth. Commentary: Krishna appeared differently to different people when he entered Kamsa's arena. Commentary: Krishna appeared differently to different people when he entered Kamsa's arena. Mallanam Ashanir, Nunam Naravaras Strinam, Smaro Murtiman, Gopanam Swajano Satam Shiti Bujam Shasta Swapitro Shishu, Mrityur Bhoja Pater Virad Avidusham, Tatvam Param Yoginam, Vrishinam Paradevateti, Vidito Rangam Gataha Sagraja. The various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as Cupid in person, the coward men as their relative, the empire's rulers as a chastiser, parents as his parents as their child. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as Cupid in person, the coward men as their relative, the empire's rulers as a chastiser, his parents as their child, the king of the Bhojas as death, the unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. SB 10.43.17. Similarly, according to the bhava of the Rudras and others, the Lord appears in 12 forms. Similarly, according to the bhava of the Rudras and others, the Lord appears in 12 forms, which are different and non-different from Krishna. Similarly, according to the bhava of the Rudras and others, the Lord appears in 12 forms, which are different and non-different from Krishna. As the Lord appears in the 12 forests, Evam, he appears in Mathura district in 12 forms. The worship of the 12 forms is described. The 10th form is invisible, Antardhani. The 11th famous form is in the Lord's abode, Swapadam Gata. The 12th form famous form resides on the earth. Explanations will be given later. 2.33 Tam hi ye yajanti mrityum taranti muktim labhante garbha janma jara marana tapa triyatmakam dukkam taranti. Translation: those who worship these forms surpass death and attain liberation. They surpass the suffering of birth, old age, death, and the 3 types of pain. Those who worship all these forms situated on earth surpass death and the other items mentioned. Since they attain liberation from ignorance, they surpass the suffering of birth, or etc. 2.34 Tad api ete shloka bhavanti samprapya maturam ramyam sada brahmadi sevitam shankha chakra gadha sharanga rakshitam musaladibhi. Translation: there are these verses concerning this. Having attaining beautiful Mathura, which is served constantly by Brahma and others and is protected by the conch, chakra, club, bow, pestle, and other weapons, people attain all success. Commentary: a mantra supports the previous statements. Having attained the beautiful city of Mathura, people become successful. The last verb, people attain all success, should be added to complete the sentence. 2.35 Yatra so Samishtita Krishnastribi Shaktya Samahita Ramani Ruddha Pradyumnai Rukminya Sahito Vibhu. Translation: There the powerful Lord Krishna resides, situated with excellent pastimes, accompanied by Balarama, Aniruddha and Pradyumna, and by Shakti Rukmini. Commentary: Krishna is living there, situated with excellent pastimes, Samstitaha, accompanied by three persons, Balarama, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna, and by Shakti Rukmini. This is only representative of the many queens and the host of Yadus accompanying the Lord. The reason for being situated with excellent pastimes is given is Vibhu, all-powerful. Putting Balarama's name in this group answers Gandharvi's question, who is the elder brother of Krishna named Balarama? Pradyumna and others are similarly part of this vyuha or group. Devaki is also indirectly indicated by mentioning Rukmini. Krishna appeared with 4 arms in Mathura by his Avirbhava Shakti in Devaki's womb, which is indicated by Garga saying, Prag ayam Vasudevasya. Previously, he was a son of Vasudeva, SB 10.8.14. This answers the question, how was Krishna born to Devaki? Devaki is also indirectly indicated by mentioning Rukmini. Krishna appeared with 4 arms. Krishna appeared with 4 arms in Mathura by his Avirbhava Shakti in Devaki's womb, which is indicated by Garga saying, Prag ayam Vasudevasya. Previously, he was a son of Vasudeva, SB 10.8.14. This answers the question, how was Krishna born to Devaki? The answer to why was he born among us is also hinted again. The answer to why was he born among us is also hinted here again. He resides eternally with you and with them, but appeared to take birth among you with a 2-handed form and among them with a 4-handed form. Brahma's question, who is the best? Brahma's question, who is the best among the avatars, is answered. Krishna is the best. Gandharvi's question, where does Krishna reside, is answered. He lives in Mathura. 2.36 Chatu Shabdo Bhaved Yekohi Omkara Samudhakruta. Translation, it's declared that the 4 Vedas become one as Omkara. Commentary, in order to reply to Gandharvi's question, how does one worship Gopala? First, Pranava alone is taught in reply to the question. What is his mantra? Through the words of Narayana, Durvas also teaches non-difference of self from the Lord to produce special affection for Krishna in order to make the worship excellent. Just as a tree appears from a seed, so from Omkara appears the 4 Vedas, which become one with Omkara. This means that the final meaning is one. Therefore, Om is the Maha Mantra. Another version has Shabdo hi eko bhavet Omkaras udahruta. The one Omkara is the Vedas. Since the sound and meaning of the Vedas is identical with Omkara, that is the conclusion. That is the conclusion. Tasmad eva paro rajaseti soham iti avadharyatmanam gopalaham iti bhavayet. Therefore, one should understand that the Lord is beyond the gunas and one should identify one's interest with his by using the mantra Soham. One should thus meditate, I am Gopala. Commentary. For this reason, Tasmat Eva, one should think of oneself as identical to the Lord, who is superior to Rajas and other gunas. Using the statement Soham, I am he, which is called the Ajapa Gayatri. The 4th part of the Gayatri is also called Ajapa or silent and hinted at in the text. This 4th part of Gayatri is Namaste, Turiyaya, Darshataya, Darshataya Padaya Paro Rajase. I offer respects to the fourth beautiful part beyond Rajas and other gunas. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 5.14.7. Affirming that one exists because the Lord exists, like rays existing because of the existence of the sun, one should meditate that I am Gopala. Because of the existence of the sun, one should meditate that I am Gopala. One should meditate that I am Gopala. By meditating the root, one satisfies the branches. Therefore, affirming that one exists because the Lord exists, like rays existing because of the existence of the sun, like rays existing because of the existence of the sun, one should meditate that I am Gopala. Like rays existing because of the existence of the sun, one should meditate that I am Gopala. By satisfying the root, one satisfies the branches. By satisfying the root, one satisfies the branches. Therefore, whatever one would do for oneself, one should do for the Lord. Complete non-difference between the Jiva and the Lord is not considered, since the two are never completely identical. Jagat Vyapara Varjam. The Lord is completely devoid of the influence of the material world. Brahma Sutra 4.4.17. He, the Lord, who is the cause of everything, named Gopala in his highest form, is beyond the three gunas of Prakriti and is imperceptible, since that is the conclusion of scripture. Gopala is also the individual soul called the Jiva, who is perceptible. How can this be? Is a root form of the Jiva and is how can this be? Is a root form of the Jiva and is represented by Om. It will be shown in verse 53 that the meaning of Om ultimately is Gopala and Balarama, the son of Rohini. This statement again indicates that Krishna is none other than Brahman. Sa moksham ashnute sa brahmatvam adhigachati sa brahmavid bhavati. Translation: he becomes free of ignorance, he attains a spiritual form, he realizes Krishna. Commentary: the result of worship is described and continues in the first part of the next verse. First, one becomes free of avidya, moksham. One then attains a form equal to Brahman, Brahmatvam. Since one attains a form of pure Chit, one becomes a knower of Brahman. One realizes Krishna, who is Parabrahman in human form. One realizes Krishna, who is Parabrahman in human form. 2.39 Yo Gopan Jivan Vai Atmatvena Shrishti Paryantam Alati Sa Gopalo Bhavanti Hai Om Tad Yat Soham Param Brahma Krishnatmako Nityanandaika Rupa Soham Om Tad Gopala Eva Param Satyam Abhaditam Soham ityatmanam adaya manasaikyam kuryat atmanam gopaloham iti bhavayet sa eva vyakto nanto nityo Gopala. He is called Gopala because he accepts the jivas as himself from the beginning to the end of creation. I identify with Gopala, who is one. Krishna is the supreme Brahman, full of eternal bliss. I identify with him, the supreme Brahman. Gopala is the highest truth. One should think of the self and identify the self with Gopala in the mind. One should think I'm Gopala, but Gopala does not show himself to all. He is unlimited and eternal. Commentary: he who extends over all time from creation to destruction and accepts alati, the dependent jivas are gopas, thinking of him, thinking of them as himself. Atmatvena, out of great affection, is called Gopala Gopa. Jiva alati accepts. Like a coward, he stays close to them as if non-different from them out of affection. It will be said, Yatha tvam saha putrais tu, Yatha rudro ganai saha, Yatha shriyabhiyuko ham, Tatha bhakto mama priya. Just as you are affectionate to your sons, just as Shiva is affectionate to his associates, just as I am affectionate to Lakshmi, so I am affectionate to my devotee. Gopala-tapani 2.48. Without such qualities, Krishna would not be supreme. Shruti means the time of creation. Paryanta means the destruction. The combination means the time from creation to destruction. Gopan is a synonym for Jivan. Why means in any place. If that is the case, what is the special quality of Krishna? The answer is given. He alone who is called Krishna is Gopala. No one else is said to Devaki. Why means in any place. If that is the case, what is the special quality of Krishna? The answer is given. He alone who is called Krishna is Gopala. No one else is. He said to Devaki, Adrishtvan yatamam loke shilaudarya gunai samam aham suto vam abhavam prishni garbha iti shruta. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in character and great qualities, I became your son and was known as Prishnigarbha, SB 10.3.41. Then who are you, Om Tat? What is known as Param Brahma or Om is I, Tat Yat Param Brahma Soham. Is the Parabrahman different from Krishna, who is Parabrahman in human form? No. Is the Parabrahman different from Krishna, who is Parabrahman in human form? No. What is called Brahman is only Krishna, Krishnatmaka, and nothing else. Therefore, I am that form of eternal bliss, Nityanandaika Rupa, Soham. Therefore, he who is Om, the Parabrahman, is I, Om Tat. Gopala remains unrefuted as the highest truth. This means I can identify with him because he is the root form. Gopala remains unrefuted as the highest truth. This means I can identify with him because he's the root form. Thinking of the self, others also should worship in the mind with the thought of oneness with him. This is explained. One should think of the self as Gopala. The superiority of Gopala to the self is then shown, is not made visible by anyone. Avyakta. Gopala is unlimited and eternal, is eternally perfect. 2.40. Mathurayam sthite Brahman sarvada me bhavishyati. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Vana Mala Vrutastu. Translation: O Brahma, endowed with corn, chakra, club, lotus, and forest garland, I reside at all times in Mathura. Commentary: the supreme excellence of Sri Gopala has been stated. Narayana now shows that he himself is obedient to Gopala. The supreme excellence of Sri Gopala has been stated. Narayana now shows that he himself is obedient to Gopala. At all times, also in the future, I reside in Mathura. I reside as Krishna's Avarna Devata, a member of his entourage. In the Purva-tapani, his position as Vasudeva in the Avarna was shown. 2.41 Vishwarupam. Hare Krishna. I will stop here in this session and continue from this in the next session in a short while. Thank you so much.